Welcome to Finance This, Property That. My name's Dion Fernandes, and this podcast is for property enthusiasts, time-poor professionals, self-employed borrowers, and strategic investors looking for residential or commercial property who want more than just a low interest rate. They want a strategy and a team around them. Each week, I'll share strategies, structures, and lending moves that actually grow wealth, not just get you the loan. And also, I will help you surround yourself with information from professionals in their field. If you're here to build smart, not slow, you're in the right place. My vision is to empower financial legacies for generations. I am a mortgage planner and finance strategist, and I work with doctors, developers, business owners, and high-income earners to build serious property portfolios. So without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Finance This, Property That. I've been wanting to run this episode for a while. It's around development finance or how to fund a development. Just a really quick snapshot. I'm going to go through a couple of things with you around what differentiates us versus some of these other brokers that are doing the development finance, some of the key stages that we use for the development funding, a couple of lender types, look at the valuations, and I just want to run you through a real client scenario around a 93 lot subdivision that we're trying to help a client with at the moment, who's dealing with another broker, but there's clearly a lot of holes in the actual funding that we've seen. Without any further ado, let's get into the episode today. So, one of the key things when I see with a client that's coming through to myself and Craig for a development finance deal, whether that be a 1 into 2 lot subdivision with a couple of builds, land subdivisions, wanting to build townhouses, etc., is that a lot of them just think they need a feasibility study and a contract. That's really not what the whole piece of the puzzles are. Like, that's not all the pieces that we need. Before we even submit a tender to any prospective funder to do the deal, we need to know a lot more than that. So our discussion's quite in-depth around who are you? All right, that's one of the biggest things when a funder looks at giving you money. If they're going to give you $4 million, they want to damn well know who you are, what sort of projects you've done, what's your background, also your feasibility study, which I'm going to touch base with you in a sec, but also your past projects. What have you learned from your past projects? Looking at where your funding has come from. What security do you hold? Your feasibility study, like I said before, does play a part. We get all sorts of different feasibility studies. What are feasibility studies? Just basically shows the profitability of the project. That's a very high level snapshot. But sometimes I get clients give me just one page with very little on it. When we look at it, we want to see a detailed breakdown of all the costs that are running through this project without GST and with GST, because a lot of the development funding will happen less GST, because you would normally claim margin scheme. You'd probably claim the GST as you go along under a margin scheme. Again, that's an accounting question, but that's what I see most people do. We all want to make a really good profit on the development and the project. However, if it doesn't stack, your funder's not going to give you the money. So our job is to educate and guide you through that process. We want to send the funding paper up for approval, not for us to get more questions. So we do ask a lot of questions around who you are, what you do. We get your CV, your developer CV or your project CV together, and get all your finances. Now, usually on development finance or project finance or private lending, they don't ask for financials, as in we're not looking at servicing your loans, because the way we structure the debt would normally be interest capitalized as long as the LVR's there. However, someone's giving you $4 million to complete a pretty sizable development. They'll want to know that you're liquid. You've got good assets behind you. Where are you earning your money? Like, what do you actually do? So a assets and liabilities table, get all the trust deeds, etc. from you as well. So a lot goes into preparing your scenario for a quick conditional approval to those lenders that before we even start. So that's why we actually do use a development engagement, because there's a lot of information that we have to do, a lot of research that we have to do. And yeah, you want to do a development or private lending? Yep, I charge a fee for that, which comes off the overall brokerage that we get at the end anyway. So we've just touched on one key stage of the funding. Key stage number one: prepare. We want to prepare and give the highest quality submission. Two, once we get the numbers back, we then prepare our funding table. We look at and compare all the different lenders that we've gone to, even though I know we don't have to. We do it to make sure that you're actually getting the best deal, which means the best profit at the end. But that's not only what we look at. We look at speed to approval, overall costs, and whether these people are actually going to give you the money, or whether these funders are actually going to give you the money to complete. That's the biggest thing. And also, we need to make sure how long these terms are for, so you can actually have a great exit, because we actually work from the exit backwards. So we've got that. So we get the conditional approvals back. We then have a discussion with you. We then say, yep, this is who we want to go to. We get through that, fill out the application forms. We do the valuations. While the valuation's happening, the lenders are actually looking at the information in more detail that we've actually sent them, plus anything extra that they'd want on top of that as well. Once that happens, it's a fairly quick process. Valuation gets done, numbers get adjusted accordingly to the valuation, documents go out. We're ready to break ground. Settlement, ready to break ground. So, the number one thing that does break this whole, break a lot of developments is the valuation. Do we need QS reports depending on the construction that you do, or depending on the level of construction that you're doing and the level of funding that you need? If we're not organised and we don't foresee all this stuff, you're probably not with the right broker to understand what's going on these developments. We've done quite a few. So here's one that we've just picked up recently that we're working through with one of my really good clients. They're doing originally it was a 46 block subdivision. They got with the original broker, they got the funds for that. Then last year, my client came to me with 2 weeks before the funding was about to run out, because they'd already done their 12 months. He was trying to get it from a 46 block subdivision to a 93. Hadn't quite done that, but they needed to get out of their finance. I couldn't help him because 2 weeks was just not enough. It was, I said, look, if your original broker has already done the work, let's stick with him. So they refinanced it, spent another $200,000-$300,000 on fees, interest, etc. So now the new loan's $3.5 million. Now that he knows that I need a bit more time to prepare the best deal for him, he's come back to us. He's now got the 93 block lot subdivision approved. We've got a old valuation which was pretty good based on a 46 block subdivision, which is awesome. So we've sort of run the numbers on it. He's gone back to that broker because one of his business partners, it's one of his family members. The broker's literally done a like-for-like refinance and spent another $400,000 on refinancing, interest, fees, etc. And what stood out even more to me is that this broker wasn't even broking the deal. It was a spot and refer deal. So we don't even know whether this lender is actually the best lender for him. So we've used that as our guide. We've actually spoken to the clients and gone, well, what do you actually need to do to make this successful? You've got great equity in this. We already know that the value is X. We're already going to be under 50% LVR, which meets a lot of conditions. And we want to refinance, prepay your interest for up to 18 months, and then give you money to go and do what you need to do to get, break ground, potentially put some services in. And if we want to sell it, we're actually going to be able to sell it for a higher profit or higher price point because you've done the extra works to it. Pay out the loan, recoup your money, make some profit. That's what we're there for. We want to see the development succeed. We actually got them a really good deal with it where the rate was lower. The effective rate was actually a hell of a lot lower. Effective rate meaning your rate including all the fees and charges. No line fee. The actual interest rate was under 9%, and the clients ended up with close to $560,000 in extra cash as opposed to $26,000. Now, I don't know about you, there's not a lot of development going on a $26,000 equity release for a 93 block subdivision. You're barely even going to get your money back. We're actually putting them in a really strong position to actually get their money back, make some profit, and everyone wins, including the people that buy those blocks of land. So it just goes to show you the level of detail. The devil is in the detail. Choosing the right broker to actually go and do your development deals is key. It starts with a conversation. Help us understand what you're looking to do so we can then tailor the research and tailor the solutions to what you're looking to do. If you are looking to do a development or you are stuck on that sort of a funding or the capital stack that you're trying to get a hold of us. I'm not hard to find at Dion Finance Specialist on Instagram, Dion Fernandes on LinkedIn. You can find me on this website, www.financespropertythat.com.au. Find me at emergefinance.com.au. But let's have a chat because I think there's a big difference in what we do versus what everyone else does. And we're really here to help you make the most bang for buck, make the most profit, but in a safe and secure way that everyone wins. Guys, thanks for listening. The information on this podcast is very general in nature, doesn't take into consideration any of your personal circumstances. If you want to know more, hit me up. You know where to find me. But thanks for listening and see you on the next episode.